Welcome back to Nikki's Scrapbooking Adventures. Today in Calling Creatives, I've got Melanie. Hey, Melanie.
Hey Nikki,
How's it going today?
it's going okay. We're
Yeah.
filming this early in the morning and I'm already tired because it's
Oh,
that time of life we're in. I'm sure you can relate.
yes, absolutely. I've got my coffee here. I'm ready to go. So everybody else should grab their coffee too, because it's going to be early morning today.
Yeah, it is. It really is, you guys. Like we're filming earlier than we normally do. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get it all in, right?
Exactly. And it's definitely a regret. Plugging it in a little bit. We're talking about crafty regrets and letting go today on our channel. And so last month we talked about our purging and we had Scylla. Maybe that was 2 months ago. I don't remember now. But we had kind of touched on the subject, but today we're really going to dive in about kind of what we regret throughout our crafty journey. I think my regret right now currently is different than I would have said like 6 months ago.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think like everything, this hobby is not a static hobby. And so your likes and your what you don't like, or what you're inspired by, what you're not inspired from, ebbs and flows. And I think, it's only understandable that, on reflection, you're gonna have different regrets or different thoughts now than you did maybe 5 years ago.
Hmm. Yeah. So, thinking about when I first started scrapbooking, which really wasn't that long ago, I think my regret was not having enough supplies. So then you know what I did as I bought a ton of stuff. I did all the warehouse boxes from both Echo Park and Simple Stories. I just was buying and buying and buying. So that was my regret probably when I first started, was not having enough supplies because I saw all these YouTube ladies, having a lot of stuff and I was having a fear of missing out.
Right.
Do you remember what you kind of regretted in the beginning?
So I started scrapbooking at a very different time period than you did. There was not a lot of options out there. So it was very difficult to kind of go crazy, to be honest. I also had no money. So between the two of those, I was kept in balance pretty well. Over time, though, because I had that mindset, the scarcity mindset, that when stuff did become more readily available, I did indulge, let's say, and not just warehouse boxes, but just every time I came across something, even if it wasn't something I really, really loved, I would buy it because, well, I never knew if I could find something similar to that again, right? Which is so ironic given now, like I have way more than I would ever possibly use. And I still have a little bit of that mindset buying stuff, right? Because, that particular pattern paper may never come out again. Okay, well, there's enough stuff that's similar out there, but, FOMO is a real thing.
It is, it truly is. And it is hard because you're right. There's one pattern paper. It's never going to be the same, most likely. It probably won't be the same shade of red. It may have the same check pattern, but maybe not the same shade of red that matches your collection and that kind of thing. And so I tend to buy collections because I know all the colors are going to coordinate and that kind of thing.
Right.
But do I regret buying all of these collections? I do.
You
Right
do.
now, currently, 6 months ago, I would not have said that. I do regret it because I've slowed my roll with scrapbooking. I've not been feeling well. And in the next 6 months, I have to move my scrap room.
so, so this is kind of funny because, well, not funny that you're not feeling well, but this is kind of funny that you're planning on moving your scrap room, because well, it's still in the works, very, very early stages. I'm planning on moving probably in about 6 to 8 months as well. So
Oh my gosh.
so you guys, you will probably have a conversation on moving your scrapbooking supplies and how painful it is. But yeah, I get that, right? Like I'm thinking of boxing everything up to move. It just is mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just thankfully moving in the same house, just moving to the basement. So then I have to think of, okay, basements are usually a little bit more humid, right? So how can
Right.
I protect my paper and that kind of thing from humidity? It's also a smaller space. So it's 123 inches by 65 inches. Like that's nothing. That is a corner of my house compared to an entire room. But this room is going to be repurposed. And so we just have to do it. We have to move. And so I can't have a big of his desk. I want drawers like you have behind you, but
Yeah.
those are expensive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You guys seen my room with the craft room tour we did a while ago. All three walls are covered
Yeah.
with stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm really thinking I'm probably going to have to start downsizing.
Okay. Okay. So that's going to be interesting. We almost need to have the purging story again, right? Or discussion again is now given this mindset, you had already hinted at it last time, but now that it really is quite definitive that you're going to be doing this and you're thinking about what do you regret? Do you think it's going to be easier to declutter or get rid of more stuff?
No, because we did all that garage sale stuff in May and I got rid of a ton of paper like already.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, this is the stuff I truly love.
Yeah.
I truly love it and I don't want to get rid of it. So it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard. I don't
Yeah.
know. In this room, I have a lot of vertical storage. So I hang my punches on a door. I don't have
Yeah.
a door available to hang my punches on down there. Like, what am I going to do with all of my punches?
Right.
So I'm gonna probably have to sell a lot of them.
Wow. Well, I guess the thing is you just have to have a hard look at the stuff that you have and go, okay, what don't I absolutely love? And because you just did your card stock, maybe that's not an obvious one to start with, right? Like maybe you just have to go, okay, we'll deal with that later. Let me focus on some of the other areas in my space.
Which is something that you're doing on your channel, right? You kind of switched from cardstock to embellishments recently, right?
Yeah, that was just a one-off.
Oh, okay.
I still got tons of cardstock to go through, but basically I was dismantling a lot of kits. And so I was just taking all the embellishments and putting them in the bin. And that bin had reached the point where I couldn't put anything else in it. So it was time to do a quick little declutter. And it's kind of fun to switch things up a little bit when you're doing a big kind of overarching reorganization of your space. Is sometimes you get a little bit bored, and so to keep the mojo going, it felt like it was good to switch it up a little bit. But anyways.
But still thinking 6 months ahead, right? We're both probably gonna move. Are you regretting buying all this stuff?
So actually, I'm not. I don't. Generally in life, I don't regret in general. Are there lessons that I could have learned and maybe should have applied things different? Absolutely, right? But I don't really regret any person. I love owning this stuff. Like that's part of the hobby. And even, as I'm purging this stuff, I've had somebody say actually about the embellishment one, they were like, well, like all that stuff that you're giving away, like how hard would that be? And like, yes, it is, but there's also something in the owning part of it. It's kind of like, if you're someone who collects stamps, let's say, like not rubber stamps, but like postage stamps, right? It's not functional, right? Like you're collecting it just for the enjoyment of collecting and searching and finding and looking at them, admiring the artwork on them, that kind of thing. And I think there's an element of that with how I treat this hobby, is that there's an element of collecting and enjoying things for a while, and then it's okay to let stuff go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You mentioned warehouse boxes. I've purchased a lot of those. I love the surprise, right? And so do I regret? Yeah, I've gotten some that have been a bit, not my style, but I loved getting the box and opening it up and finding those few pieces that I really loved. So,
Yes, I can see that. And now thinking of like just talking about enjoying our hobby, I have not sat down and just like looked at my paper in a very long time. I feel like maybe I need to do that so I can fall in love with it again. Because, paper is our thing, right? As scrapbookers, we all love our paper. I need to spend some time and just sit down and enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of like, as I was going through stuff, I look like I'm pretty decisive, purge, keep, purge, keep. But part of it is just refamiliarizing myself with what I have and being inspired by the colors and the patterns, and just being with it is inspiring. But that being said, I'm still not very motivated right now.
Oh, man.
That's because of other reasons. That's just work stress that's flowing over, but it'll pass by soon.
Yes. Once your work stress is over, maybe you'll start house hunting or apartment hunting.
Well, I'm actually, I'm hoping to relocate to a different state. So,
oh, you're coming to Kansas? Awesome.
well, I'm not going to say Kansas, but it might be out that way. Where I'm just, like I said, I'm in the very early stages. I've got to do a little bit of investigating, to see where I want to relocate to. There's logistics. It may not happen, but really at this point, I love California for the weather, but I don't really avail myself of everything that it has to offer, right? Like I don't go to concerts. I don't, go to the different theatrical performances that I don't even go to the beach, right? Because it's like a pain. I hate to say it, but it can take you 2 hours to get to the beach. Well, it'll probably take me an hour to get to the beach and then take you 2 hours to find parking. And then, so it's just logistically, it's just not something that I'm terribly a fan of. And it's just gotten so expensive.
Yeah. The cost of living out there is insane. That's what I'm saying. You come move to Kansas, the cost of living here is a lot less. And we have 5 different local scrapbook stores that you can come look at. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, I may have to put it on the list, Nikki, just for you.
And you'll have an automatic friend that can introduce you to all these other people and scrapbookers and all.
That's true. That is true. So anyways, I don't know. Again, it's a thought. It's been a thought that's been percolating for a while, but we're actually going to go and do a trip here to do some exploring. So we'll see. It could go really fast and it could not. I mean, I'm stuck in my current lease until May. So that's why I said that's probably the ballpark of when I would move, but if I move. So anyways, we'll see. Stay tuned, because I'm sure if I got to pack up this space, I'm taking everybody with me.
Right. You're going to label each box with us.
Exactly. So yeah, so I wouldn't say I have any regret on the majority of my purchases, if not all of them. I do have, like I said, some lessons learned. So things like, we talked about this before too, like in the tool compartment, I don't maximize the use of my silhouette. So I have regrets that I've made these purchases and I'm not utilizing them to the extent I should be, right? Do I regret purchasing the silhouette? No, because I still want to use it. So I don't quite regret it. But realistically, should I have bought it? No. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a few of those, and it's something I've learned about myself. I am not somebody that's going to go and pull a bunch of tools in, right? But that FOMO, man, it hits me, and I see what people do with these things, and I'm like, yeah, I'll grab it. I'm going to learn it, or I'm going to play with it, and then I don't. So I haven't given up hope, but yeah, it's coming. So how about you? Any regrets other than paper?
Other than paper. I mean, the one we talked about this when it in the purging, I got rid of one collection that I didn't have anything else like it, and then I needed it within the next month for a design team.
Right.
Luckily, I have so many stores around me, I was just able to go buy a couple pieces of paper. So I kind of regretted getting rid of that, but at the same time, I have resources available for me readily to get whatever I need. So it worked out. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. The biggest thing, I guess I regret buying storage organizers when they didn't really work. They weren't exactly what I wanted.
So that's one of my items on here. I said organization supplies, buying a container because it's quote unquote cute, right? And not having a specific purpose for it, and not being strategic, right? Like just buying stuff because I saw someone else use it or whatever, and then I get it into my space and I'm like, I don't know how to make this work.
Right. Now, I bought some gray containers from the Container Store. They fit my stamps and dies and everything. It was great, but I could not get the drawer out. It was kind of like hinged or whatever. Well, 6 months later, I went to Target and they had drawers that I could actually pull the whole thing out. And that's my style, is I want to be able to pull the whole drawer out, put it on my desk, rifle through, and then be able to put it back.
Right.
So that's why I regretted it. It was because it didn't function the way that I wanted it to, even though it worked at the time.
Right. So the problem I have with organization, and as you guys know, I think it's an ongoing process, right? Is I don't know how I would have known what my organization style was unless I tried the different organization styles.
That's true.
So I guess the question, and maybe the viewers have the answer to this, and they're smarter than me or whatever, but like, is there a way you can figure out your organization style without without having to do it, right? And I think Cass from the Clutterbug has a little survey that tells you, like, that you can take that kind of tells you what you lean towards. But even then, I don't know that that always would solve every single organization dilemma that I come across.
Right. And her system, I think, is like bugs or whatever. And one of them likes to see the stuff, one of them puts it away. Well, that doesn't really help me in this sense of I like taking the drawer out and bringing it to my desk. It doesn't address that either, right? It's very broad. So I agree. I don't know how you would do it without trying it.
Yeah. You need a rent to organization storage, try it and then buy it or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily I kept my receipt, so I was able to return the things that I didn't like. So that worked out.
Well, that's good. I'm really bad at returning things, but the other one is I'm a little bit stubborn. So I'm like, well, no, you'll find a way to make it work, right? And so then I hold on to it and then it doesn't. And then I have a hard time letting it go because, again, maybe I can make it work. So I don't know if I were to go back and do things all over again. I don't know how I would get to the point where I am now. I mean, it's taken me 25 years to get to this point of sort of knowing what works and what doesn't work. Similar to you, like I like taking a drawer. I like taking stuff out to my desk and then putting it back. I'm a flipper, not a digger, that kind of thing. And I'm also very visual. So like having stuff behind closed doors is not a good option for me because I just out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So
right. And that's something that I'm thinking about when I'm designing this new space is I can't have doors because I need to be able to see everything. Otherwise I will forget it's there. So that means I need to figure out a different way to hide my stuff when it gets messy, when I have company over. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to try to do like a rod or something, and curtains. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have people going down into the basement quite often?
Yeah, it's our second living space essentially.
Okay.
So that's where our big TV is and where our couches are. That's where we host parties and that kind of thing. So like I really do need to think about how I can hide my space.
I love this. I would never pay this much for it, which is why, well, and it doesn't fit my space, but the dream box, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I love the idea of it, especially when their recent one where they flipped over to they switched the containers on it or whatever. And I think that's a great option if you want the visibilities because you can open it wide. But then when you don't want it, you can close it up. But it's expensive.
That and it's not very big, right?
Yeah.
Like it would not fit all of my stuff. That would be like ordering my stuff, not just having it.
Yeah.
So there's just no way that I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, that's the other point too. There's no way. Who am I kidding? There's no way any of it would fit. Oh, like majority would fit in there. But I'm just saying, if I were to start out and I had the money, I probably would invest in something like that, especially if space was a concern. But yeah, it's really expensive. And I heard a bit of a pain to put together, but.
Oh, that's a bummer. I've seen people, jerry rig it where they took Billy's bookcases from IKEA, and made their own, which is awesome. I'm just going to attach them to the wall. I'm not going to worry about closing it up and having all that space behind where you need to open it. And I need a desk that's big.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta weigh everything out, right? So are you concerned about kids having access to the area?
I am. So right now I've got these little, I don't know what they're called. It looks like a plastic fence, essentially. It like hooks together. It's a plastic fence that blocks off my area, which keeps me contained and keeps the kid out. I'll probably have to buy a second set because I'll need this set in this room to kind of block off my area for my work.
Right.
Yeah. So life with kids sucks sometimes.
Well, they just add an extra challenge, but the reward is worth it.
Yeah. And that, I mean, it's 123 inches wide, right? So a normal baby gate's not going to work. I'll have to get a fence.
Right. Well, I'm sure we're all looking forward to finding out how you solve your dilemma. That's for sure.
Yeah. Any other regrets that you have?
So the other regret, it's more, it's hard to call it a regret when it's a personality trait. maybe it's a personality trait I wish I could change about myself. I love crafting scrapbooking. Like I just love it, right? And I love trying and learning new things. Not all the new things are things that fit, right? So sometimes I can just try it and that satisfies me and I don't need to do it again. Other things I try and I love and it's great. It's part of my life forever. The problem with this is that when I go and try things, I don't do things like this. I do things like this, right? So when Project Life came out with the pocket pages, it was new, it was interesting, it was different, right? I don't like to scrapbook with pocket pages, generally speaking. I'll use the odd one as an insert, but to do like a Project Life album, I did one 12 by 12 one year, and I did a couple 6 by 8. By the end of those projects, I was so frustrated and so like, I wouldn't say I hated the project, but I was done, right? But in the meantime, I accumulated a mass load of Project Life cards, a mass load of pocket pages, thinking, oh yeah, this is the newest and greatest, and now I just need to purge them. Like I really do just need to purge them. I'm struggling with it because again, there's a part of me that sees the potential in things. I'm like, well, maybe you can repurpose the Project Life cards for, or not Project Life cards, the pocket pages for something different. Like maybe you can be creative and come up with a way to make a mini album out of I don't know, but this is the way my brain works. So I wish that I was a little more hesitant when I try something new and just bought it in small chunks before fully investing. The same with, we talked about mixed media supplies, right? I have a ton of mixed media supplies, way disproportionate to the amount of times that I do mixed media, right? Like, do I really need 100 different spray bottles? No, right?
Yeah.
So do I regret purchasing them? No, I will use them if they don't go bad on me, but I wish that I hadn't gone so full on, that I had a little more restraint.
Yeah, I think classes are one way to get a taste of something. I did quilling. I got a taste of it. I will never do it again if I don't have to, right? My fingers don't do those small intricate things anymore. It just hurts.
Yeah.
I think that's part of work. I'm on the computer all the time. And then I tried, it was like a sewing journal or something like that. And I really did it. I actually have it right here. I did it to try it, right? Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen these before where you sew little pieces of fabric.
Yeah, it's on my list of things to try.
Well, let me send you this and you can keep it and then you can try it. Then you don't have to buy anything.
Okay.
It was fun at the point in my life when I was doing this is I wanted to try putting more embroidery stitches on my layouts. And so I tried to incorporate whatever this was into
my
scrapbooking. Well, that never happened. So I took a class. I'm done with this now. It's yours.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. Anyways, but that is a good point. Classes are something that I actually have learned over time as a way to try and help with some of this. But I also have class regret. I have purchased a ton of classes and I've never done them.
Yeah.
So I would say that is one. And in the back of my mind, again, is it completely a regret? Because I can convince myself that I will still do them at some point. But really, truly, if I haven't done them by now, probably aren't going to. So what I learned from that is if it's just a class with no supply, I probably won't do it.
Interesting. Yeah, I tried a couple different classes. So, and they've come with supplies and videos, and it's like a whole weekend thing. One of them was Vicky Booten, right?
Yeah.
It was my first one ever. That was intense.
Yeah.
Holy cow. It was like 12 hours of video with her on there with us the entire time.
Yeah.
Which was amazing, but I never used the layouts. I actually sold the layouts that I had completed because I was all going along right with her. But when it's a 12-hour day like that, you need to plan.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. And I just realized I don't like base pages.
Yeah.
So
that's not a good fit for you. I ironically will sign up for these things and I very rarely watch the videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So basically what I'm signing up for is the instruction booklet and the supplies.
Okay.
because half the time I don't need to see them cutting and gluing.
That's true.
I know how to do that. Like, I want to know, I really wish they would just do a synopsis. Here's the tips and tricks, right? And
Like, here's a technique and how to do it.
correct. And, or like, this is really tricky to stamp in this way. Here's how I did it. Like I masked this off and then did this, this, and this, right? Like, just how do you make it a little bit easier or whatever. Now, I don't need to see the visual someone doing in order to do that. And I can appreciate that other people are otherwise so inclined, which is why it still works, right? Because I get the booklet, I can look at the photo, the end result. I mean, half the time I don't even read the instructions, right? Unless I
Right.
need, because again, I've been doing this for 30 years almost, right? Something new that I've never seen before, which, doesn't happen very often, can probably figure it out. But I do enjoy the classes because it gives me that opportunity to try something new or gets me out of my rut, so to speak. So yeah. But the ones without that are just the video, yeah, I don't do those. So
I get it.
anyways, it is what it is. The other thing that I have a regret on is planners and planner supplies.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, it's like the organization system. You got to try all of these different things to figure out what works for you.
Yeah. The thing is I call myself, I want to be a planner girl, right? Deep in my heart, I just want to be a planner girl. I want to have the cute planner. I want to have the cute embellishments. I want to be super organized. I want, to have my life all laid out and just, be there. It's not me. I just can't do it. I've tried. And the funny thing is, I have been this way my entire life. So even when I was in school, you would get planners when you were in school, university, whatever. I start off the year faithfully writing everything in, and about 2 weeks in, it's a piece of garbage because half the stuff's missing. And yeah, anyways, I regret some of that.
It's funny. Sure. So I have nightmares sometimes about still being in school and not writing down my assignments in my planner and then forgetting about it.
Yeah.
Nightmares still to this day. I have been out of school for 15 years.
Yeah. That's crazy. I don't know. I mean, I am finding though that because I am not so much busier, but because I have more projects on the go, that I do need to have some sort of methodology to keep track of things, because I am not keeping it all in my brain as well as I used to be able to. What I'm doing right now is relying on people like Nikki to keep track of things for me. But no,
this is true. Every month she texts me, okay, what's our topic this month? When are we doing this?
It's so bad. I need a solution. I just don't know what it is. So I've tried bullet journals. I've tried the regular planners. I've tried doing it on my phone. I just got a mental block when it comes to it. Now, speaking of planners, there was a kick there. Maybe it's still popular, is the memory planner kind of concept, which I thought, oh, that might be kind of fun, right? A different way of documenting your day-to-day life. But I was smart in this case. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy all the stuff. I'm going to do it digitally.
Oh.
So I created a calendar on like Adobe Photoshop or whatever. And then basically I did the base of the calendar. And then I would slide the photos in at the end of each month in the slot, do a clipping, blah, 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 print it off, and then just embellish it with other supplies. I managed to finish 3 months. Yeah. Before it stopped, because my life day to day is not, I don't take a lot of photos. It's not
right.
I don't want to say it's not interesting. It's just not scrapbooking. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's just it's very much repetitive. So every month would end up looking the same. And so I'd end up having to put in a lot of filler photos just to make the calendar look like there was something that went on. And so I just kind of have died on that. Now, the good thing was I was building that into my regular 12 by 12 album. So if I don't do it for the rest of the album, it's okay. Like I will survive. It does bother me a little bit that I'm not consistent for that whole year, but I will survive.
Yeah, I think my problem is like today I have event after event after event, right? So there's no way one photo is going to encompass 3 different events in one day.
Right. Yeah. But you could, like, if you really wanted to do the memory planner kind of thing, especially if you just have a generic calendar, you could just have it as like, this is the representation of the month, not
Hmm.
necessarily that each was on each date, and just leave the dates off of it and you'd still get a good pick, good idea of what it is. But yeah, that's another one. And I did good. I didn't buy a whole bunch of supplies for that.
Good. Now, one thing, like you said that your day is kind of repetitive. Have you heard of day in the life?
Yeah, and I have done that a few times, and I probably am due to do another one again. I've also done week in the life, and those are fun. Like that,
Hmm.
it's a short project. It doesn't drag on for the whole year. It's got a start and an end, and it does give you that kind of visual representation of what your day looks like. The reason why I need to do it again is because my life has changed a lot since the last time I did one. I don't go into work anymore. I work from home, all of
Right.
that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, the last time I was doing it, I was pumping with my son. So I really need to do it before my life changes again. Like I
Yeah.
need to, I've been, it's so bad. I've been trying for several months. I take the first photo of my coffee like I did the last time because I still drink my coffee in the morning, and
Yeah.
then I forget the rest of the day.
You have to put like a timer on or something in your phone to
Yes.
remind you to take a photo or something.
It's
Yeah.
only one day. Why can't I remember to do one
Yeah.
day?
Traveler's notebooks. I love the idea of them. They're so
Mhm.
cute and, compact and blah, blah, blah. I bought a few. Now, I did not buy all of the ones. Well, I did buy the ones that I have, but I'm going to say I didn't deliberately buy them. Yeah.
Oh
I got
yeah, here's my traveler's notebooks.
Yeah, I got a lot of them in like warehouse boxes and stuff like
Yes.
that. So I do have a large volume of them that I really should probably let go. I have tried a couple times now to use them and I struggle from a memory keeping perspective. I think what I should
Oh,
just do is pull them out and just have them sitting by my desk, my work desk, and just use them for taking notes and stuff in and use them up that way.
that's kind of what I've done. So I don't memory keep with them, but instead, like this one's titled Crave. And so while I was watching some organization videos, I was listing, and this may be something that I need to come back to, right? Things that need homes. So tools, supplies, and then projects. And so maybe this is going to help me kind of organize to go to the basement.
Oh,
Might
okay.
come back to this.
There you go.
So yeah, I use my traveler's notebooks more as notebooks than
For memory keeping.
actual memory keeping because I don't like the format. I am a square girly. So I like my 8
Okay.
by 8 because it's square, and I like my 12 by 12 because it's square.
Right. My problem is that I like dimension too much. And so
Mm,
so the books just end up being like, I don't know, they're just massive. And yeah, anyways, it is what it is. Not
yeah.
not my thing. I'm not allowed to buy them anymore. And if I happen to use up my surplus and I want more, I can easily make them because they're not hard to make.
Oh,
So
they're not hard to make at all. Why the heck did I buy so many when I can totally fold paper, use the pretty card stock that I already have to make traveler's notebooks?
yeah, exactly. So I have
Anyway,
a question for you. Have you ever started a project and abandoned it?
oh, all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
And it's more the smaller versions. I did do memory keeping in three travelers notebooks. I haven't touched it since I did the video a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I regret it? Not really, because I use the supplies. It's a project I probably need to get back to. I kind of regret not doing that, but
Yeah.
I've got other stuff going on.
So I don't think I've ever completely abandoned a project, like actually like just chucked it out. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I started it and chucked it out. I don't think I've ever done that. I do have a trip that I took and I was using a traveler's notebook to document it in the moment, except I didn't finish it.
Mm,
So that one might get tossed just because I don't know that I could finish it, given that it's been a couple years. The style of doing it in the moment versus doing it now, it would be very hard to replicate. Like you would
right.
notice a very different way of like journaling, let's say, right? Versus in the moment or now. So I might ditch that one. But that was done primarily so that when I do scrapbook the actual 12 by 12 layouts, I've got everything documented, so to speak, and then I can use
Hmm.
it. So what'll probably happen is I'll probably hold on to that till I finish scrapbooking it, and then I'll probably just toss it.
Yeah. Yeah. we recently did a trip to Disney, which was awesome. The trip before that, I kept a traveler's notebook and I, like you did, wrote down every day, everything. I didn't do that for my Disney trip and I kind of regret it, but honestly, I was exhausted.
Yeah.
They were long days, you know, just heat and just tired. And there's
Yeah.
no way I could have stayed up for an hour writing about my day.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I've got my pictures, whatever. I'll
Yeah.
document it sometime.
Yeah. It is what it is. That's for sure. The other thing that I again, I don't regret is such a harsh word. So I love making mini albums, but I don't like filling the mini albums. So do I regret making them? No, because I had fun while doing them. And I just love making them. But I do kind of, whenever I look at them sitting there, all empty, I'm like, oh man, I need to fill them. Like there's that kind of guilt associated with it. So
I think you need to sell them.
yeah, you're so good about the selling thing. I am so lazy when it comes to that perspective. Maybe I'll do a giveaway. Leave a comment below if you guys would be interested in a giveaway of albums. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my problem too, is I love the flips and the flaps and all that kind of stuff, but I like square and I just don't like the 6x8 format, but I love making them too, and I just never fill them.
Yeah. So I think those are all the kind of crafty regrets, if we want to call it, that I have. Did you have anything else?
I really don't think so. You hit some really good topics today.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about, right? It makes you kind of reassess where you're at. So for our viewers, if you guys have had any crafty regrets, we'd love to hear what those are. So be sure to leave a comment below. Let us know what you wish maybe you would have done differently, or if you've actually gotten rid of projects that you started because they just weren't working out.
Yep. And make sure to check out Melanie's video on Wednesday. We're going to talk about some school prompts this time. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.